Hi everyone, this is Karen Nichols from the Digital Teaching and Learning team, and I'm here today to share with you another session from our Teacher Connect series called Expand Your Digital Content Resources with Britannica School. How many of you remember these from back in the day when you maybe went to your school library or in your classroom or maybe even at home? You had a full set of encyclopedias. That used to really be the standard of how we started research, was with these big bulky books to get information and get started on a topic. However, most encyclopedia companies, including Britannica, stopped printing these big editions many years ago. Around about 2012 they pretty much went to digital. However, just because the print copy of encyclopedias have kind of gone away, it doesn't take away from the importance of an encyclopedia. They've been around forever, and they're a really good resource. Why? Because especially if you're using a company like Britannica or World Book, some of the major known encyclopedia brands, you know that the information that you're going to find in them is reliable. um, Encyclopedias cover a wide range of topics, and they have very short, concise articles where you can get an overview of information on any particular topic. So, this is a time saver. A lot of times, we'll tell the kids just to go Google something if we want them to find information, when honestly, if we would send them to an encyclopedia, it's a much faster, easier way for them to get started. Not saying that they wouldn't go out to the web and research after that, but at least then they know that first bit of information they're getting is from a reliable source. Now, one of the reasons I think we don't think much about encyclopedias anymore is because print, when we used to use them in print, I mean, literally as soon as they were published, the information wasn't current. They're big and bulky. You couldn't share the information very easily, had to take notes, and honestly, they were very expensive even back in the day to print those. But now, an online encyclopedia, they are so awesome. They include not only the text, but multimedia. They're updated live, so it's always up to date. It's really going to be easy. I'm going to show you today how it's going to integrate into Canvas and into your lessons. And it has some interactive components. So you can see how the difference between the print and online. But the two things that where it comes together is, if you're using an encyclopedia like Britannica, you know that the content is quality. So it's a very good place to get digital content for your students. So, like I said, Britannica School, it's not free, actually. It is free for you, but it is actually paid for by the state and through NCDPI through a program called NC Wise Out. And there are many, many resources there for you to use. This, I'm just highlighting one today. Um, and I also want to show you that it is actually integrated within Canvas. So I'm going to show you how easy it is that you'll be able to share this resource with your students and start using it right away. Now, rather than me going through all the features of Britannica, they actually have a webinar where the person from Britannica School actually talks about the features. So what I did, I clipped out about 15 minutes from that webinar of her going through each of the pieces of Britannica School, because I think she does a quick, fast job of it. And so I'm going to play that 15 minutes for you, and then I'll be back to talk to you about how we're going to integrate that into Canvas.
So let's just briefly talk about what Britannica School is. Britannica School does provide you 3 levels of online resources: elementary, middle, and high school. Plus, we have a Britannica Fundamentals section for our pre-K through 2nd grade students. It has articles, photos, illustrations, primary source documents, maps, and so many more things that I'll be briefly showing you when we take a tour around. And also, it's accessible on any device, anywhere, at any time, and it's safe, reliable, and up to date. That is something that we've always been proud of, and we've actively worked to address gaps in traditional curriculum and in our product. Our editorial team has been working hard at modernizing our content, particularly during this crucial time, and they've made significant progress in making changes that that range from style changes to adding new content. And our editorial team has been actively working through current content to revise, add, and replace outdated articles. And so speaking of our editorial, and then I just want to talk a little bit about some of the things that are on the middle school homepage. The homepages are a great place to get students engaged with content. So a lot of things are going to be the same across all three of the different homepages. And when I show you the elementary and high school ones, you'll see that as well. We have a couple things that are also unique here as well. The middle school page is always going to have a little place to spark curiosity. These change on a regular basis at the top to sort of spark interest. And then when you scroll down the page, you'll see that there is our Explore Britannica section. This is across all three levels. There's an Explore Britannica area. You can do an article browse, or you can do an image and video browse, and then you can do the biography browse. The article and image video browses look they look identical, except they're just pulling different content. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you the images and videos to give you a little flavor of what it looks like. So you select the topic that you might be interested in. It's going to slowly narrow your search results based on that. So for example, if you're interested in science and mathematics, it's going to slowly give you more options that are available to you here to be able to look at. So maybe if you're really interested in what does Britannica School have to offer to me related to images and videos of biology, you can easily pull up that content here for you. You could do the same thing with the article browse, and then it would give you article content about that as well. And then we do have our biography browse here as well. I like the biography browse because you can get into selecting the era that you want to look at, your cultural association, what they're known for. You can even put in gender and really pull out some great biographies, and maybe some biographies that your students didn't know about before. So if you're doing something related to a poetry month, you might be able to introduce your students to some poets that maybe they wouldn't know about otherwise. And like I said, these Explore Britannica features, you're going to see those across all three of our different homepages. The middle school homepage does have these at a glance articles that are unique to this. I really like these. They're a great place to have a whole bunch of information put into it in one place. So you get a nice overview with links to different things to go into a little more depth. So you're here, we're looking at the solar system at a glance. It's going to give you a little overview. And then it has links to all the different planets so that you can easily click on those, or related articles. And so all of these give you these nice little sort of snapshots of information. So even if you don't teach middle school, if you're looking for something that's going to summarize and have these links for you, this can be really helpful. And that's at the middle school homepage as well. You'll see that there are these Did You Know videos. These are specifically highlighted here at the middle school level. I love these. If you notice, if you look at them, they're only about 30 seconds long. So these could be great. You want to capture your students' interest before you dive into a lesson. These can be great short little videos to use in that way. And then we also have a daily buzzword at the middle school homepage as well. So you can come back and learn a new word. But everything that's on the pages of these homepages is meant to spark curiosity, get students interested. Each page has these geography components here. So you can do a compare country area to go through and look at two different countries and get statistical information, as well as articles and media surrounding them. And then you can also go into our world atlas. So you can go into the world, or you can zoom into the United States. You go into the world here, you can put in any place that you want here to take a look at. And whatever you sort of have center in your map, if you want to just sort of drag it around. Right now I have Egypt in the middle. It's going to pair Britannica content with the map for you here. So we have our summary, our profile, and related information. So it's Britannica content paired with that. But you can even take it a step further. You can zoom into a part of the world like Cairo, if you want to with your students. Oops, a little funky with me here. There we go. This is one of the things I really like to do, is switch this over into a satellite view. And then when you get in closer, you will see that there's these little dots that will pop up. And if you grab your little person, I have my little person down here in the right corner, all these different dots will pop up and I can drop my person anywhere that I want to. So if I'm learning about Egypt and I want to go and explore the pyramids, I can actually go here and I can walk around and take a virtual field trip. Or I can, it might be a little slow because of my internet connection at the moment, but I can talk about the setting, or, you know, we talked about it, the inauguration happened today. You can go and look at the Capitol with your students. There's all sorts of places. You're looking at the setting of a specific book. You can take this and go anywhere that you want to with your students in that way, while still having that Britannica content that's paired for you as well. So that's a really great feature that's available to you to use on the home page as well. And then as we scroll down to the bottom here, you'll also see that at the middle and high school level, we have primary source documents. These are always highlighted as some great ones. And then at the bottom, there's always the new and revised articles. So you can see which ones are being updated today. You can take your students and show this to them in terms of, you know, knowing that this is a resource that is being regularly updated for you to be able to use. So that gives you sort of a flavor of some of the things that are on the home page. But let's go ahead and do a keyword search now. Let's go ahead and do one on North Carolina, your state. You'll see as you search, it's going to recommend different things. You can click on those to go right into them. But I recommend clicking on the little magnifying glass to go to the search results page. So one thing that's good to know when you're in the search results page here is that you can easily adjust the level. So right now we're looking at middle school. With a click of the mouse, I can easily see what's going on at the high school level, what's going on at the elementary level. I don't have to exit out and go and do a separate search. I can just click my mouse to be able to view that content. But we have all sorts of images that are here for you to be able to add to those digital content sets. All of these are rights clear for non-commercial use. You don't have to worry about copyright infringement as long as you're using it for educational-based purposes. Really easy for your students to add these. They can just right-click and save the image if they need to. And then we have all sorts of different ways you can share this. You can get a direct link, or if you use either Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams, we have easy ways to be able to share those things as well. But we also have what I love, which is automatic citations. And the automatic citations you can get in Britannica School for all of our images, our videos, and our articles. So you just select the citation style that you want to be able to use, and then there you go. You're ready to go to be able to copy that into whatever research or project that you might be working on. So it makes it very straightforward for your students to be able to get that information and make sure they're correctly citing your resources. If you go into our videos section, you'll see that there's a couple things here that are good to know about the videos as well. The script is going to be provided here at the bottom for you, but also you have a couple of additional features if you press play.
The Nile River travels over 6
that you can download these videos. So if you want to put them into a slide deck, or students want to put them into a project, they can. But then we also have the option, as you're seeing right here, I have the ability to turn on closed captioning if I want to, or also audio descriptions if students need those accommodations as well. And then if you go into the more, you'll see that there's a dictionary. Our dictionary is provided by Merriam-Webster. So here you can hear the pronunciation of words.
North Carolina.
But you can also get the definition if it has a word that has a definition. When we get into the article, I'm going to show you how you can use the dictionary in a helpful way in the article to help your students with words that maybe they don't understand or they need to work on vocabulary development. And I'll show you that in just a second as well. But then there's a whole selection of other resources. We have journals and magazine articles provided by EBSCO. We also have a selection of website sites that our editorial department has put together. So you can also find these as additional resources. And at the middle and high school level, we have about 26,000 primary source and ebooks that are available for you to be able to use. So in the search results page, there's a lot of things for you to go and do a keyword search and find resources that are helpful to you there. But what I want to do is dive into the article and talk about some of the things that are here for you. So before we click into it, I do want to let you know, if you look over here, you'll see that there's a Lexile filtering. So you can adjust your Lexile range to whatever you want it to be for your students. And then when you turn that feature on, it'll put the Lexile measure next to the article. So that can be a really helpful tool for you to be able to use If you want to turn it off, it's just as easy to turn it off. You just X this out here and it'll take the Lexile filtering off for you as well. So something good for you to know. But let's go ahead and dive into the article in North Carolina and talk about some of the features that are here. So first thing I want to talk about is some of the support features that we have. The first thing I do want to talk about is that quick click dictionary. So if your students are reading through this and maybe they come to the word abundant and they're not sure what that word is, they can easily double click on it with their mouse. They can get the definition of the word, hear the pronunciation.
abundant,
But also, we have a little tab that'll give them the Spanish translation of the word, which can be really helpful if you have any students who are Spanish as their primary language, they're learning English as a second language. They can, as they're reading through in English, get certain words that might help them as they're working through that as well. And then we have our little toolbar up here at the top that has all sorts of things that are helpful for you. This is going to be our share options. So you can get your direct links. You can share to Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. You can even save the articles directly to your Google Drive if you want to. And then you'll see this little star here. So we have the ability to print, add those automatic citations. And then there's a couple here that are unique to the articles. One is that you can translate the article into about 80 different languages using Google Translate. So for example, let's change it into Arabic. It's a computer-based translation, but it can be a really great support tool for students if they have a family member or guardian at home that's more comfortable supporting them in a different language. They can translate the articles and get that support at home, or even just share what they're learning in school. And so it does do it just on the website. It doesn't print in this language, but it's a great tool to be able to use for your students who might need that. Easy to take it off if you want to. There's a little bar that you see that's up here at the top. I'm going to X that out, and it's translated it back into English. The other thing that's really great is I can have the article read aloud to me. I'm going to model this for you so you can get a sense of what this looks like.
Introduction. The U.S. state of North Carolina is graced with natural beauty, a generally pleasant climate, and abundant natural resources. One of the 13 original states.
So that gives you a little sense. Usually it highlights per sentence, and then it highlights the next one. It's a great support for students who might need support on reading fluency, or they're maybe just more auditory learners. They have that option to have the article read aloud to them if they want to. And then the last thing is you can increase and decrease the font size. So if you need that, sometimes our younger students like the text to be a little bit larger, especially when it's being read aloud to them. That option is available to you as well. And then the last thing that's helpful to know about is you'll see that it says reading level here. And just like I was showing you in the search results page, I can see what content is at the different levels. I can also do that with the article content. So with a click of the mouse, I can bump up to see the high school level article that's provided to me here, or I can even bump down and look at the elementary level. Something I want to highlight, and I think it's important to know about this, is we're accessing the elementary article, but you'll see it's going to stay within the age group that you're looking at. I want to open up another window here. I'm going to take us back to Britannica School. And I'm going to show you what the elementary level looks like if you're doing it through the elementary search. So we're going to do North Carolina. So when you're in the elementary section doing a search and you go to North Carolina, this is what the article is going to look like for your students here. It is designed with that elementary audience in mind. It's very brightly colored. Text is a little bit larger by default. The read aloud section is right here for your students, but also, as you can see, the information is chunked here for a younger audience too. So it's not to overwhelm them with the content. So if you're in the high school or the middle school sections, it's going to take you down and have you access that elementary level text. But it's going to keep sort of the framework and the look of the website with the that older audience in mind, sort of, considering the social needs of those students as well. So they can still get the support they need in those ways. So really helpful to be able to adjust the level of complexity as you need to.
Okay, so there we go. There is an overview of all of the different components of Britannica School, how you can adjust it to meet your needs for your students. Lots of opportunity for differentiation there. So now I just want to show you how easy it is to integrate it into your Canvas. So let's take a look at that now.
Of course.
Okay, so the first thing you've got to do to make Britannica visible in your Canvas account is you have got to go into your settings and move it into your navigation bar. So when you go into your Canvas page, you will just click on the settings link. And down, if you don't already see Britannica there, it may be down further into the your disabled navigation tools. So you go down and find Britannica, and then you just drag it up to the top. Once you do that, you'll see it moved up to the top into the visible navigation tools that I have. Don't forget to save. One thing with this, if you just drag it and then you don't hit save at the bottom, it is not going to stick. So you want to be sure that you actually do that. And then this is a student view of my my playground page. Now that I've moved that and I've saved it, you can see that Britannica School, there is a hot link there for my kids. They'll be able to just click right in and go into Britannica. And I am going to go into my Canvas and actually do this with you in just a second. But let's talk a little bit about, okay, so we're actually going to go in now and use it. I pulled a second grade science standard out about the weather using different weather tools. And so there's two different ways you might consider using this with your students. One would be give the students a topic and let them do self-guided research. They've got the bar there on their navigation pane, so they can just click it and go into Britannica themselves and put in keywords, and they can start searching for their own articles. Or you can create a resource pack, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me go over into my Canvas. And the first thing I want to show you is what I was saying. You can see here right now, you cannot see Britannica School in my links. I don't, and you guys remember that if you see the eyeball crossed out here, it means that you got that disabled for students. So any of these things, they won't be able to see. But I'm going to go to my settings. And then I'm going to go to navigation. Yours may open up in horse detail. Horse. Oh my goodness, I saw my horses in course details. And you want to switch over to the navigation tab. Scroll down, find Britannica School. For me, it's right here. And then I can just grab it and I can drag it up. And I'm going to just put it right up at the top here. Now remember what I said before is that you have to save it. If you do not save it, it will not stay. So there it is. So now I'm going to go back to my home page. Okay. And let me go into student view. Okay. And so now you can see Britannica School is right here in my links. So it would be very easy for students to navigate. I'm going to go ahead and open it just so you can kind of see what happens here. So I'm going to go into elementary since she kind of showed you a lot of middle school stuff in her examples. Now you can see I'm in the student view. You don't see any teacher information here. I'm going to show you what it looks like from the teacher, but since I'm in student view, it is showing me what I would see as a student. And you can see your students, the one great thing about going through, instead of going out of the web and into the Wise Owl site and getting that way and going through Canvas, your student account is already there. They're going to open it up. They'll be able to save stuff within Britannica. They'll be able to save the resource packs you create and all of that information right from within Canvas. So again, like I said, that your students, you could just send them out to do research. And so they would just hit the search bar, type in weather instruments and go with it. And then they can actually use the favorites and save it or complete an assignment, however you choose to have them do that. but maybe you want to actually pull some stuff from Britannica yourself, and give them exact things to go look at, digital content that you want them to use specifically. So let me get out of my student view. Okay, and so now I'm going to go into Britannica School as a teacher. So I'm going to open it here. I'm going to go back into elementary. And now you're going to see here at the top, you see that there's an educators tab. And when I hit my Britannica from mine, you'll see that there's lesson plans, public lesson plans. I have quite a few more options than the students have when I'm in my view. But like I said, I looked at a standard for weather instruments for second grade. So I'm going to go do just a full keyword search to see what I can find that maybe I want to share with my students. So let me type it in, hit this. Okay, so now I'm starting to see some items come up. And remember, you can use the Lexile search to narrow. There's so many things here, but for time's sake, I'm just kind of going to go through and just show you a quick way to do it. And then I'm going to give you resources if you want to dig deeper into Britannica and the things you can do with it. I'm going to give you resources to be able to find out more. So let's see, here's one that's talking about the instruments they've used in this website. So that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on it. And this looks like something I would like for my students to read. So all I have to do is go over to this little favorite star. And when I click it, it's going to ask me to add this to an existing resource pack, which I haven't made yet. So I can go ahead and create it right here. So weather, I'm just going to call it weather for now. And I'm going to go ahead and create it and do done. And now this article is actually already in that resource pack for me. So I found that. Let me go look at images. I'm going to see if maybe there's an image that I want to put. And here's a nice infographic that shows different tools. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit sharing options. Again, all I have to do is hit this favorite. And now I've already created this pack. So I just go click it and then done. So now I have this. And then maybe I also would like to add a video. Here's one about thunderstorms. I'm just going to choose that one just for an example for you. Go to sharing options and I'm going to save it. I'm going to tell it I want to put it in my weather pack and done. So now I have these 3 items that maybe I want to put into an assignment in Canvas. So all I need to do now is I'm going to go back to my Britannica School. And my resources. Whoops, I have to actually be in my thing. Hold on. Go here, go to my Britannica, and I'm going to go to resource packs. So here you can see, here's my weather resource pack that I created. I can click on it. And there are all of those items that I want my students to look at. Now you can see I can actually add a note to it, giving students instructions right here in Britannica, or you may want to actually put your notes within Canvas and your Canvas instructions. That's a preference. You can play around with that and see what works best for you and your students. But all I have to do to share this content, this digital content with my students, is to hit the share button. I'm going to copy the link. Okay. And then I can go into Canvas. Maybe I'm going to create an assignment for my students. So let me add an assignment here. I'm going to name it weather. And I'm going to tell my students to review this content. And I'm sure you would put a lot more information here, however you would design this lesson. And then I'm going to paste that link in for my students. So I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm going to go get a link and I'm going to paste it. And I'm just going to put the word content for my example and done. Okay, so there it is. So there's the content. And of course, like I said, you would put all of your instructions here, whatever information you would need to do, create your assignment. Of course, let me go ahead and put today's date. And now I'm going to save and publish this so that you can see what it looks like. So when I go back into my student view for this assignment, here's the assignment. All my students have to do is hit content, and it's going to pull up that resource pack for them. And then they have a couple of options. They can save this resource pack, and when they do, it puts it into their Britannica School account and they'll have it. Or they can just go to the digital content that you have shared with them. So basically, that is what you do with Britannica in Canvas. Like I said, you can either do student self-guided research with it. You can create those resource packs. You may have seen the feature there for lesson plans. There's so much more. The actual video, I clipped out about 15 minutes for you to watch. The actual webinar is about 45 minutes long, and she really goes into content sets in detail there. So I'm going to share that link with you today so that you'll have it. And as I said, Britannica is just one little piece of what's available to you on NC Wise Owl. You may get asked for a password when you go in. If you decide to go look at Wise Owl, you may be asked to enter the Wise Owl password. We are not allowed to actually publish those on the web. So your media coordinator can tell you what that password is. You can email DTIF and we can tell you what it is that way. You can actually put it in your student's Canvas account. That's okay. But because this is a resource that is paid for by North Carolina for the teachers and students of North Carolina, we cannot publish it out on the open internet where other people that are not part of our system are able to access it. So just keep that in mind if you decide to use this resource and you need to share that password with students, parents, so that they can get in. Now, most things in Wise Owl, we have it set up that if you are in district, it is not going to ask you for a password, but your students will find that when they go home and they are no longer on our networks, it may ask them for it there. So just be aware of that. Again, I have a bit.ly here if you want to take a moment to take a picture of this. It is Brit, BRIT, for HCS. And remember that bit.lys are case sensitive. So make sure you get that exactly right so that you can get to this resource page. I'm going to open this real quick just so I can show you what I have. I have actually a link to this slide deck that I've shared with you today. There is a user guide there that is straight from Britannica that has step-by-step how to set it up, things like that, and some of their video tutorials. They have a great page on research, helping students with research that I thought would be great. And then that webinar that I was telling you about that I clipped the pieces out to show you in this Teacher Connect, you can actually see that whole webinar as well as many others that are just really great about how to use Britannica. And then here's the link to get to Wise Owl so you can see what all is available there. And I do hope that you will take advantage of that. So again, here is the bit.ly to get to those resource links. As always, we are here for you at Digital Teaching and Learning. You can contact us. Our email is there at the bottom of the page with any questions about this, this resource, or if you have any issues using it in Canvas, or if your students have any issues, please, please, please reach out to us. We are always glad to help you with these things. Again, I am Karen Nichols. I have enjoyed sharing this with you today. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.